Welcome, everybody. Secret Invasion, episode 5, the penultimate episode. Next episode is the series finale. Probably, I think it's listed as series finale. I would
think
assume,
so.
yeah, I would assume they're not
Yeah.
going to do a season
They're
two.
not gonna. Yeah. Whoa.
I'll hit you with the overall right away.
Okay.
This is what you came for. This is what you clicked
Right.
on here for. Overall, I think episode 3 happened so that episode 4 could happen. Episode 4 was really, really good. I think episode 5, this one was good, just like episode 3 was good, but it feels like it was an episode that was made so that the next episode could happen.
Okay.
So it felt like a lot of good things happened. It was interesting, but it didn't feel like the primary focus was for this episode. It was like, all right, look at all this stuff we're building up for so that next episode, it's actually gonna be pretty
And
cool.
that's typical of a MCU show. I mean, towards the end, Nick Fury's talking to Sonya Falsworth. I think that's her name, right? Sonya Falsworth.
Yep.
And eventually Nick Fury goes, "Cavalry's coming," or something like that. Cavalry is coming.
Right.
And most MCU fans know that Melinda May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is known as the Cavalry.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Sure. So Melinda May is known as the Cavalry.
And who's Melinda May?
Melinda May is just one of the characters. She's a longtime S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. She's been in a lot of...
And not a
superhero, no, just an agent. Just very skilled martial artist, fighter, tough as nails. That was an Easter egg. Rick Mason from Black Widow. That's who the guy on the plane was. The guy from Black Widow.
Yep, that was the guy that helped her get her travel when she needed it.
Sure. Right. And then also gave Fury the Black Widow face changer tech.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's been 3 callbacks to Black Widow, which makes sense because it is a spy thriller, and Black Widow is a spy thriller. So those were a couple callbacks. Just the phone call where he's like, "It's time. Like, let's finish this." Like, who is he talking to on that phone call? Because he doesn't have anyone left. We really think.
So that's it seems like that's what the main focus is about for people that are interested in what's going on in the show. That's what I've heard is people talking about that.
Sure.
Who could it be?
Right.
Who do you think it is?
Who do I think it is?
Because you say he has no one left.
I don't know. I've seen so many theories. Who do I deep down think it is? I don't think it's Captain Marvel. I don't think it's an Avenger. I don't think it's someone that power, because if Captain Marvel shows up, she's just gonna clear Gravik and then move on. And he said, it's not time to bring in an Avenger. Nobody can protect the world as much as I can.
Made it clear that he wasn't going to bring in a superhero.
Right.
Do you think it's Quake?
I hope it's Quake, because I think S.H.I.E.L.D. is more of a grounded force. And if it's S.H.I.E.L.D. or Saber or whatever, but S.H.I.E.L.D.'s job is like Homeland. It is to protect Earth. And if it's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's most likely a spy. She's secretive. Gravik probably has no idea she's there. Or I think it could be Melinda May. And if it's Melinda May, then Melinda May would bring you right into possibly introducing Quake. So if you don't want that tech out there.
With his focus on Carol Danvers and his focus on it not bringing in a superhero, I didn't know about who Melinda May was. I think the Melinda May thing makes the most sense because he made it seem like he needs somebody with brains, not superpowers. Somebody with experience, because he made a big deal about not a lot of people in this world have gone through. None of them have done what I've done.
Sure.
So he probably wants somebody that has done something that he's done. So somebody who maybe a Maria Hill, the closest he can get to a Maria Hill or an
Agent Coulson. A lot of people think that Maria Hill's still alive too,
which would also negate that video of him killing her.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. If you say he's got Skrull sleepers still working for him, and one of those Skrull sleepers was posing as Maria Hill, would he have been that upset then? I mean,
I don't think it's Maria Hill. If they're gonna kill off Talos after the situation he was in, they killed him when he was at his lowest point.
Sure.
If they're going to kill Talos at his lowest point, there's no point in bringing back somebody like Maria Hill to really save her story. That's just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm kind of, I feel like it really could be anyone, but I don't think it's whatever people think, like take it down like 3 levels.
There was
like,
another one. It was like, did he call like the real Maria Hill? Did he call the real Rhodey? And I was like, I don't think he knows where the real Rhodey is. That's what he's trying to figure out where the real Rhodey is. I don't think it's that. I thought that whole sequence was pretty
between him and
like,
Rhodey.
Yeah, their Rava.
Rava,
So,
yeah, where he bopped
yeah.
him in the head with the butt of the gun.
Yeah.
Give him a little boop,
Yeah.
boop. Give him a little boop.
Yeah.
Don't mind me just messing up my camera.
Just
super
booping.
bad.
Just
booping stuff. I don't know. Just like every other episode, Rhodey's character just kind of, it doesn't feel like what I'm looking for Rhodey. So it feels like
it's
a
not
completely
Rhodey,
right. It feels like a completely new character, and I don't like that character.
And yeah, because like there's no Rhodey's not like that. Like
right. He's not cocky.
Yeah.
He's the opposite of cocky. He's like super. He didn't think he was worthy enough to use a weapon like War Machine.
Right. And yeah, and then now he's working for the like government, and he's doing the like government way of things, but
and
still he has
bottles of Pappy Van Winkle.
He still has but he still has loyalty to like his friends. So that's why like him messing with Fury like at the when they were having a drink, that's like that is not Rhodey. No. So we nailed that. But
I think a big takeaway from this episode was Gravik. He seems to have lost control.
Oh yeah.
Is that from the extremists? Is that from not being like a
for him
Skrull?
for him to just kill his second in command like that? I think he's a bit unhinged.
Right, he killed him because he was pushing back. Like he wasn't mocking him. The guy was making clear, valid points.
Right,
and Gravik reacted the way anybody who's losing an argument that has no ground reacts, which is it's the most unintelligent response you can have is to be violent right away.
Right.
And that's what he did.
But you also got to see him go like Skrull mode, and he got to see his true colors the first time. Second time you see Gravik like in his Skrull form, but he was way younger back in the day. Yeah. So
there were a couple things in this episode that made me feel like okay, if they really tried, they could have done something different. Like if the Skrulls really wanted to kill him, they could have done something else besides put a bag over his head and held him while in human form.
Yeah, you have weaponry, do you not?
Not only do you have weaponry, but you all could have turned into Skrull form instead of trying to keep him down in human form.
Right.
You could have done that. And there was also a moment where Sonya, I can't remember what she did something where I was like, yeah, could have easily avoided that. There was just a couple points that kind of stuck out where I was like, you did that so that the plot could move.
Speaking of Sonya, when she interrupts the Daltons, first of all, she acts like they're both Skrulls because she thinks they're both Skrulls.
Yep.
Right. And then obviously just turns out that the husband was a Skrull, which means that other Dr. Dalton is out there somewhere. But and that scientist knows where. That's a plot hole. Like she knows where they are now. Like, well, they're in New Skrullos. Everyone knows that, I guess.
Right, which is why Gravik's threatening to bomb it, because then you lose all those people too.
Right.
I am starting to just join her side.
Oh, well, speaking of what I was going with, the husband, like she drew a weapon and then shot the guy in the head before the guy did anything.
Yeah.
That was very confusing. I was like, that guy wouldn't pull the trigger.
Maybe he didn't think that's what she was gonna do.
Yeah,
because he didn't actually want to.
And maybe he was afraid to kill her because she has the tech. She knows the tech, I guess.
Sure, she's the real genius behind it, so they need her.
So I guess
they do get the harvest, they probably need her.
Right. What is the harvest? Because it made it seem like it's like all the Avengers DNA. Like
it's not just the Avengers DNA, it's anybody with abnormal DNA that was on the Battle of Endgame. Sure. So I'm also assuming that Thanos' blood is part of that. And because if they got Cull Obsidian, it's not just
they could be from the arm getting amputated or whatever. So they got that DNA from that.
Like it's not just the good guys' DNA that was harvested. I think it's
Proxima, Corvus Glaive.
Which Proxima Midnight would be insanely terrifying to get their blood in there. Could you imagine
Ebony Maw?
Right, you got Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, Thanos, and you have
Corvus Glaive,
plus Carol Danvers, potentially Scarlet Witch. Like you have all their blood in there. And for somehow he knew about it.
Gravik was part of that sleeper group that was collecting those
Oh
samples.
yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So he was part of it, but he didn't. He gave it to Fury, and then Fury hid it, and he doesn't know where it is. So he's trying to find it. But
hid it in a bunch of fake Nick Fury gravestones.
yeah. And so he knew we're probably, oh, I know where to get Flora Colossus, I know where to get Cull Obsidian, I know where to get Frost Beast, stuff like that. But that's like baseline level.
Right.
But deep down, like,
and based on that material, it looked like it's already been mixed and everything. Like it's already
right.
Which that was another thing. Why is this vial that could be completely harmful to whatever? Why have you not just destroyed something like that?
Right. Yeah.
What is the point of holding on to something like that unless your
Sure.
whole point was the government's going to use it to militarize some person in the future?
Right. Right.
So then, Nick Fury, you're not really that noble. You're still holding on to something that the government plans to weaponize one day, or you planned on weaponizing it.
Right.
Like,
and
what,
if he's got
he's
got these fake gravestones everywhere, maybe they don't all have, like, that vial may be a specific Avenger, like in a specific person.
Right.
And so that's the one he's trying to keep out. Like if that one, for instance, like I'm just brainstorming here, say that one is Hulk.
Sure.
Okay, say that one is Hulk. And that goes directly into, like, isn't Thunderbolt Ross supposed to, like, I swear Thunderbolt Ross, like, he was supposed to become president.
Yes.
It's supposed to be like President Thunderbolt Ross.
Correct.
But Ritson is the president right now.
Correct.
So now say he has Hulk's vial of Hulk's DNA, which you need to make whatever. Maybe Skrulls have figured out how to merge cells or whatever, which they obviously have. So now you've got a new president, and you've got the Hulk DNA, and he's Red Hulk.
Right.
Maybe that goes directly into it. It's supposed to be like a prequel to the Marvels. There still would be some stuff happening on Earth. Like, it's not just going to instantly resolve everything on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's how I see it. And so I don't know. It was just
the vial was like a greenish clear color.
Yeah.
So
it was
that
like
made me.
It's like you've been drinking a lot of water to try to pass your pee test, and that's what you got.
Like Hulk was drinking a lot of water to pass. So and that's the thing. Is like, who's green? Whose blood would have been on the battlefield that was green? There's Skrull DNA. There's like blue blood.
Right.
Hulk's blood is green. Or whatever. It's like he's not supposed to be able to bleed because you're not supposed to be able to.
Free blood is blue, so Carol Danvers would probably have blue blood, I would imagine. Or if it's something like that, it'd probably be purple, a mix of human and Kree. But
so what would be that slight green? Hulk is the only one that really.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Loki wasn't there.
Maybe, and Loki's blue. Loki's
right.
a frost giant. So he's a frost giant. I don't know. Drax, right? But his blood red? Like, haven't we seen him bloodied?
Right.
I don't know. I think I just thought about that, and I was like, that just kind of, Ritson's the president right now. So how does Thunderbolt Ross become president? They have Avenger DNA. Like, I don't know.
Eventually,
Hulk got his ass kicked.
Eventually, Ritson's probably gonna die.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Rhodey's there. Nobody knew except Fury that Rhodey was a Skrull.
Yeah.
And us.
Well, he told the president too. So, like, did the president hear him?
The president was unconscious.
Yeah, but yeah.
I would say yes, the president heard him. That would be a completely useless scene if that ever comes back.
Right. Right.
Unless Ritson calls out Rhodey at some point, that scene where Nick Fury was walking down the president, they told him to wait. He sat there with a gun. That would have been a completely useless scene.
Right.
So if they don't call it back, that's just super lazy writing.
And like, another thing, lazy. Like it kind of leads into that. I feel, because like Thunderbolt Ross does not like Captain America. Thunderbolt Ross, when it was played by William Hurt, not Harrison Ford, that character was talking to Rhodey, and he was like, arrest them, they're fugitives. And then Rhodey hung up on him. So that person does not like Captain America. So now we have a new Captain America who's directly tied into Thunderbolt Ross. Like, they're in the same movie, like New World Order or New whatever it's called. They changed it, but we're getting away from Secret Invasion. But if this comes to fruition, then like, we're geniuses. So
Gaia's story with the wife, that was kind of cool, but didn't feel super necessary because we didn't know what really came of that. And we also don't really understand what I didn't really understand what Gaia was trying to do. She buried Talos. Now what's the plan?
Yeah, like where are you going next? I
What's
guess.
happening there? So that story felt kind of just like weirdly placed. Gravik feels like he's becoming unhinged, and Nick Fury feels like he's finally getting ahead.
Yeah, he's got a trick up his sleeve, is what
Right. It was not as good as episode 4. So far, I think episode 4 was the best episode yet.
Sure.
It probably wasn't even up there as good as like the pilot for me.
Sure. I liked it because you got a bunch of Gaia
You did.
in this. How did she know about the safe house? Well, like that's where she spent her childhood. So she like knew Fury was gonna, she's smart enough to know like that's where Fury's gonna go. She confronted him. She wasn't harmful or whatever, but she still kind of stayed at her side. And then Fury's like, listen, if you want to join this battle, like you're welcome to join. If you want to bury your father, bury your father. But
it took Priscilla, I think, to wake her up.
Right.
Her story has been way too slow for me.
Yeah.
If you're gonna tell me there's only 6 episodes, I don't want filler stuff.
Sure.
Like 6 episodes isn't enough for you to have. There should not be filler material.
Right.
Like that whole scene with the president, like anything to do with Gaia, where she's just staring. Like you eventually had Gaia tell us the names of all the DNA anyway. She told Fury what he had stolen.
Right.
So you automatically made it so that scene of her looking at the camera, that was or looking at the computer, unnecessary.
Sure.
Like it moves way too slow for a 6 episode show.
I didn't really mind Gaia's little scenes. I guess she's probably like, from my point of view, and from I'm sure a lot of other people's point of view, the second most popular actor or actress in this entire show. Seeing her in any scene is a bonus. But I think I agree with you in regards to like we shouldn't have a brand new character of this magnitude that should have a massive role or not a massive role but a big role in the MCU, especially if there's a human form of her, just be like introduced and then like story ended. Like,
yeah,
you would, if this was like a 10 episode series, you probably wouldn't even see her for 2 or 3 episodes. And then you'd bring her in and you let her adapt a little bit and then you finish strong. But it's too short to like sprinkle her in, I guess. They could have done better with her whole story, I guess. So
I think a lot of this show, the overall what's going to happen with the show and the overall fan reaction, this finale is going to be huge because we've seen with every show so far, once the final episode comes out, viewership rises because fans of this, the way a lot of people consume TV now is streaming the entire thing at once. It's why The Witcher, they're not worried because they think once the second part of the new season comes out, they think a bunch of people are going to binge the whole thing.
Sure.
It's why certain shows are still keeping that we're going to release the whole thing all at once because they understand people binge. This finale is going to determine whether or not people pick up the show at all.
Right.
And in my opinion, it's going to determine whether or not this was a good show because they've had half of the episodes. To me, I think obviously every episode has been, I'm part of the target audience, so I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, we talked about that. It's like Marvel's not necessarily made for every viewer. It's made for us.
Right.
As like the fans.
If you've read the comics, if you played the games, if you're just into superhero stuff and the idea of joining that world, it's perfect for nerds. It's perfect for nerds that like to fantasize.
Right.
So it's not for everybody. I get that. But for people like me, who I am the target audience, I've had 3 episodes where I was like, meh, and 2 episodes where I was like, sick.
Yeah.
So if you go at least 3 for 3 and the finale is the best episode yet and it makes all the other episodes make sense and tie together and it leads us really good into the next project, then I view it as a success. But if this last episode is anything like the rest of the show, it's gonna be like, oh, that was a show.
Here's the thing, like throughout like you said that there's good episodes and not necessarily bad episodes, but like in those bad episodes, there's still good parts in each of these episodes. So it's like they went for a full episode and they tried to hit every moment throughout that, but they didn't. And then they go to the next episode and they hit 80% of that episode. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, we've talked about longevity of like Disney Plus shows where you have told a better story with 8 episodes or 9 episodes or 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And then now you've got something like She-Hulk did 9 episodes, but She-Hulk was really paced really weird.
Yeah.
And now you've got Daredevil coming out, which is like 16 episodes. So like Now you're getting a little bit of both worlds. They still need to kind of figure out their happy medium.
Loki was like
And
8.
yeah,
WandaVision was like 8.
I think Loki was 6. I think Loki was 6.
Well, that would
WandaVision
make
was 8.
sense. There was
So
because this show, if you think Secret Invasion, if it was 8 episodes, would be god awful because they can't fill 6 episodes worth of
right,
content.
right,
Loki felt like it could have been stretched and been still good.
right.
WandaVision was like that happy spot of
WandaVision was like great. It was
yeah, it
like
was if it went one
lengthwise, it was
episode
good.
longer, it would have been way too much. Anything shorter would have felt like they were missing stuff.
Right.
So WandaVision was really good. Falcon and the Winter Soldier felt properly paced. I think it tied all loose ends. I think She-Hulk was too long.
Yeah.
Too many episodes. They didn't have enough content for it. They released something
Filled it with memes. Yeah.
they filled it. Yeah, it was not as good as it could have been. It's still a good show.
Right.
Still enjoyed it, but they didn't. It's like they're not picking and choosing. Like these seem like things that would be obvious. Like you're in the writer's room, you're part of like the creation of the show. You would think somebody would speak up and be like, "Don't we feel like this is kind of poorly paced?"
Right. Yeah.
I would hope so, considering like
Yeah.
they're creating a piece of work. They don't seem to be learning necessarily their lesson from some of their like other mistakes they've made. Secret Invasion right now, all of it hinges for me on this finale.
Yeah.
If
No, I hear that. I hear that.
because I've gone back and I've rewatched parts of Loki.
Yeah. Right.
I watched every
Right.
episode of WandaVision twice. And like there's the good shows have been rewatchable. Hawkeye,
Right.
there was not every episode, but there were multiple episodes where
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched more than once. I
Yeah.
think it was like episode
Hawkeye's
3
very
and the
similar
finale.
to Hawkeye's really similar to kind of this show in regards to that there is some that missed a little bit that were kind of
Right.
like, eh. Hawkeye is also different because you have a main cast that's actually pretty crazy. You've got Hawkeye, you've got Kate Bishop, you've got Yelena Belova, you have Echo, and you have Kingpin. Like you've got 5 people that can steal the show in every scene they're in.
Right.
Whereas this one, it's like killed off 1, you killed off 2, you
Rhodey's not good enough to
benched
steal
1,
the show.
you bench 1. Yeah, like
Don Cheadle might be the best actor in the show, but his character,
Don Cheadle, he's kicking ass in regards to acting.
Yeah.
It also would be sick to like get our real Rhodey versus like Rava. So
And I do genuinely think Don Cheadle is one of the greatest actors of all time.
yeah,
Just gonna throw that out there.
He's insane. Yeah.
The idea that he's made a character that I love, like Rhodey, the actual Rhodey War Machine, is this super fun character to listen to and watch on screen. He's such a good character to watch. To see him play this new version of Rhodey, and I hate him. Like I hate him.
The acting chops are sick. Yeah.
Don Cheadle's incredible.
But, and even like that's one other thing, like Tom Hiddleston doing the same thing in Loki. He's acting as himself in different Loki forms. Like President Loki was different, and some of the other Lokis were like wimps and scared. Like it's a bunch of different cool things. So
Moon Knight was another one of those shows that was paced kind of like it was.
Yeah,
it was
a cool idea to like have, but like it wasn't done right, I guess. So
and that was the thing. Moon Knight, it was kind of also because of the weird pace. The finale hinged on whether or not people were going to like it. The finale kind of tanked the show for most people because it was not what people wanted. Because the rest of the show was so good, in my opinion. I love Moon Knight, and I thought the show and Scarlet Scarab's going to be one of the best things you'll see.
Yeah, she's so dope. Yeah,
oh, so cool. It's that the finale made it so. You didn't see a huge increase in viewers. You actually saw like a plateau. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it's Carol Danvers. I don't think it's a superhero. And I don't think it's Quake. And I think it's going to be Nick Fury, whoever the cavalry is. It's probably that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Could be
character.
Melinda May. What if it's Coulson? In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't know how much of it is canon, but Nick Fury did appear in that show.
Sure.
Like Samuel L. Jackson did. And so it could have been a branch timeline. It could have been a whole different universe. He did revive Coulson using Kree DNA. So that is why Coulson is in that show, because Coulson died to Loki, but then they revived him. That is the Tahiti project. But then it's like, you kill Coulson, Maria Hill.
Because I didn't see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I thought Coulson was dead, or I would have thought Coulson as well.
Yeah, but in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they revived him using Kree DNA. It's a very traumatic procedure. Okay. But essentially, Tahiti was used to. Coulson looked into the Tahiti project and it was Coulson's research and whatever. And essentially was like, if one of our Avengers falls, can we bring them back to protect the world? And basically Coulson did all of his research and was like, this is not humane. It is like torture. And I 100% do not think this should be used in the future. That was Coulson's own report.
Good.
But then Coulson died and Fury disobeyed that to revive Coulson because he's his friend. So
okay,
I don't know how much of that is canon or whatever.
If it's not Coulson, if it's not that, I got three. One of them's not wacky, but
okay,
yeah, 3 wild guesses. So one, Harrison Ford as Everett Ross.
Okay,
and that could be Hulk.
I think he could make a cameo in this.
Yeah.
Show anyway, especially if Ritson dies. So because
that Peggy Carter is one I could see. I don't think that one's as likely.
She did a comment recently about Multiverse of Madness, and she said, "Oh, it was kind of lame where I could be like, I could do this all day, and then I get chopped in half by a frisbee." So she seemed very like kind of negative.
She's been interviewed like 4 times about it. It's like, why are you interviewing this person now?
Right.
Unless you're trying to do marketing because your character's coming back. Otherwise, it's just like, why are they talking about Multiverse of Madness? Why are we talking about Peggy Carter? Why are we talking?
Yeah.
This character doesn't really have anything to do with the future of the MCU unless she's making a comeback. So that would be one of my wild guesses. My other wild guess would be Happy Hogan.
Sure.
Somebody, because I'm trying to think of people that would have the experience but not be super, and it would be somebody like a Happy Hogan. He's just calling because he needs somebody with whoever has the most connections high up.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect, but there's got to be someone. Someone was on that phone. It's not Gaia, or else you would show that it's Gaia.
Yes.
So it's somebody. It's not Rick Mason. They got that little Rick Mason. I was actually okay with that. Like I was like, he's out there somewhere. He's got tech. He's got an avenue for tech. So
who's the guy that takes over Stormbreaker or takes over Mjolnir eventually?
Oh, Beta Ray Bill.
It's Beta Ray Bill is who he's calling. It's Beta Ray Bill and Sentry.
Got it. Okay. Steven Yeun's Sentry. Yeah.
Steven Yeun's Sentry and Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, no, it's gonna be Henry Cavill's Captain Britain.
Yes, it'll be Henry Cavill's Superman. And The Witcher, and it'll be as Geralt.
Yeah. Geralt of Krypton.
Yeah, that's good. Yep. Yeah, so let us know who you think it's going to be in the comments below. Let us know on the Twitter, the YouTube comments.
I'm all Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think it's Quake, Melinda May, Coulson. That's my guesses.
My guess would be Melinda May, Agent Coulson, or Everett Ross. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. You all look great today. Genuinely. G. Now you say something because the camera won't pan to you unless you say
GG.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets.